In this video, you'll learn to breathe in 3 steps. I want to start with a little demonstration of how the breath works and why it's important. So first, join me in taking a big breath in. Go ahead and exhale all the air out. And from here, take another breath in, and this time hold the breath at the top. Keep holding that breath until you absolutely need to exhale. Keep holding. And if you haven't already, release the breath, exhale completely, and just pause to see what did you notice there. So when we hold the breath in, often we might notice a sense of discomfort come up, maybe panic, maybe irritation or frustration. And the point of this is to show you something really important that is actually our first step in learning to breathe. So stage 1 is learning to exhale. Right, so it's estimated that we breathe in and out about 19,000 times a day, and we do this without thinking. The breath happens as an autonomic process, right? So it's automatic, and it's something that we can control too. So in yoga, it's really foundational for us to learn how to use the breath in different ways to optimize a pose, maybe to shift our mood in a certain way. And maybe just to start observing how we're meant to let the breath flow in and out naturally, right? We're not meant to hold the breath in. When we do that, carbon dioxide accumulates and has nowhere to go. When we hold the breath out, we don't get the oxygen back in that we need. So this is a process that is meant automatically just flowing in and out naturally. And really, I wanted to show you this because usually our first step in learning to breathe is just that exhaling part, right? We just need to learn to exhale and the inhale will come naturally. So with all of this said, go ahead and join me in these 3 steps of learning how to breathe. So we'll start with focusing on the exhale. We'll move into a practice called belly breathing, and then we'll turn kind of our final step will be ujjayi breath, which is what it's called in the yoga practice, and it's basically making a slight constriction in the back of your throat, kind of making the sound of the ocean, and we'll get into it a bit more. Okay, let's get started with our first stage or step for learning to breathe, which is learning to exhale. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat. You're welcome to just sit in a folding chair or kitchen table chair, or you can sit on the floor. I'm sitting in a chair, and if you're doing that, I would encourage you to sit up in a way so that you can sit with the feet planted on the ground beneath you, right? So instead of having the feet kind of dangling in the air, if you're short like me, you just scoot up in the chair so that feet can be on the ground. And then go ahead and start with the eyes closed here. If you want to keep the eyes open, you're welcome to. Otherwise, just close the eyes. Or you can just let the eyelids soften, beginning to take a soft gaze a couple feet in front of you or on the horizon. And we'll start here by just observing the breath. So just noticing here to yourself, what is the state of your breath in this moment? And by that I mean, where do you feel the breath? Maybe you feel it in and out of the nostrils. Maybe it's more obvious that it's in the chest. Maybe it's in the belly. Maybe this is the first time you're bringing awareness to your breath today or ever. And I want you to start to notice if you feel stuck at all in the breath. Do you notice yourself holding the breath at the top? Again, no need to try to change or control anything quite yet, just observing. And now I want you to exhale all of the air, either out the nose or through the mouth. At the bottom of that exhale, notice when the inhale comes back in. And if possible for you today, so it might be a little difficult if you're really stuffy or sinus issues are happening or allergies, but if possible for you, breathing in and out of the nose to start here. So again, your eyes can still be closed. You're welcome to have your eyes open if you'd prefer. There's not really anything to see here. You'll just see me with my eyes closed for the most part. And every time you reach the bottom of an exhale, I want you to pause and notice. Notice the inhale coming back in naturally. So after that little scan, this is really our first stop, just observing how at the bottom of an exhale, an inhale is waiting to come back in. And it's been said that all we really need to do is remember to exhale. That inhale will come naturally. So this is what you're practicing here. And as you move into your day, maybe even observing this. So observing what happens at the bottom of your exhale. The breath just comes right back in naturally. You're gonna begin to shape the breath and change things up a little bit here. So you can blink the eyes open if they're not already. And we're gonna begin to move the breath into the belly. So I want you to go ahead and you can do this seated or you can do this laying down. I want you to just place a palm of one hand at the chest and a palm of another hand at the belly. Just going to begin to soften everything. So let the belly soften. Let the chest soften. And with your next breath in, see about pressing the belly into that bottom palm. And exhale, belly softens toward the spine. If you're lying on your back doing this, you could even put a book or a piece of paper on the belly and just notice the rise and fall of the belly that way. So that's where we're started. We're just moving into our second step here, which is belly breathing. So we spend a lot of time breathing into this upper part of the body, the chest. That is what we do when we have anxiety, tension. You might even be somebody who has a lot of upper body tension, right? So this learning to breathe and send the breath into the belly is going to begin helping with that. So belly rise, belly fall. It might take you a while to get there. That's perfectly fine. This is a practice, right? You're learning to breathe, and you're going to carry this with you into every yoga class pose that you do. So we'll keep talking about the breath in the other segments. So let's begin to expand that. So inhale, belly presses into the bottom palm, and then continue that inhalation all the way up, chest rises. And then you're going to exhale the other direction. So chest falls, then belly. Inhale, belly presses into the palm, then chest rises. Exhale, chest falls, then belly. One more time. Inhale, belly first, then chest. Exhale, chest, then belly. So our third step here, and you can keep the hands where they are, or you can release them entirely. You're gonna keep working with the first two steps, which is noticing the exhale, that the inhale is there for you, right? When you need it, the inhale is there for you. You just need to remember to exhale, to let it go, so something new, fresh oxygen can come in. And that second step is bringing your breath further down. So when you're anxious, panicked, stressed, this is where we start to breathe in the chest. So we're just consciously bringing that breath down into the belly. Okay, so our final step here is going to be cultivating what's called in yoga Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is an inhale through the nose and an exhale through the nose with a slight constriction in the back of the throat, like you're fogging up a mirror. So I actually like to start this breath with an open mouth. So I like to take my hand and pretend that my palm of my hand is a mirror, and I inhale through the nose. Open the mouth like I'm fogging up a mirror. Exhale. So you can go ahead and try that. Just inhale through the nose like you're fogging up a mirror on the exhale. Take that a couple more times. Eventually, you'll join me in taking that breath with the mouth closed. And then I like to bring my palms back here. So I want to teach you this breath, kind of bringing everything together, all three of these stages. Now, in a yoga practice, you might kind of use one of these components at a time. But I want to just show you how you can put all of these together. And it's a nice way to get some increase in relaxation, physiologically speaking here. So the breath is a direct link between our parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic nervous system is that fight, flight, or freeze, and parasympathetic nervous system is rest, digest, relaxation. And so our breath can help us link and move into that more state of relaxation. So I just talked a lot, and I want us to start breathing again consciously. So maybe taking that hand position. And again, you can do this on your back if you'd like. Go ahead and close the eyes. So inhale, pressing into the belly, chest rises after. Exhale with that slight constriction in the back of the throat, making the sound of the ocean or that slight resonant sound in the back of the throat. As you exhale, chest falls, then belly. If it feels like too much right now to tie those things together, you can even just release the hands and let the hands rest on the thighs and practice that ujjayi breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose with that slight constriction in the back of the throat. And that breath will be loud enough so that you can hear it. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose, slight constriction in the back of the throat. And if it's feeling like that stage is too advanced already, maybe returning to that open mouth exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. That is a perfectly great place to start. And that would just be inhale through the nose. Imagine there's a mirror in front of you as you try to fog it up. And eventually over time, working with that, you can start to let the lips come back together and breathe in and out of the nose. And one of the great things about this ujjayi breath, I'll say, is you're continuing to put everything together, practice that, is it helps us create a nice internal focus. So this is one of the reasons that breath is calming, or at least this ujjayi breath is a nice one to do, is that it kind of anchors you back into the present. When you can hear the sound of your own breath, it right away brings you back to right now, right? So let's take one more all together. Let's put it all together, maybe using the hands on the belly and the chest. Exhale all the air. Inhale through the nose, belly rises, then chest. Exhale with that slight constriction in the back of the throat, chest falls, then belly. And soften, release. Let the palms come together here. Thumb knuckles can rest at the heart. And this is just a brief introduction to breath, something that you can come back to anytime. And again, if you kind of keep going through these beginner segments, you'll hear me continue to guide you or cue you to work with the breath. There may be different ways that we use it, but this is a great segment or video to keep doing so you can keep practicing the breath. The breath is one of the most powerful ways we have to shift our mood, so I highly encourage you to practice this, even if you just have a few minutes. So thank you so much for joining me. And in yoga, at the end of classes, often this phrase or word namaste is said. And we also usually bow our head to our fingertips or our heart, which just symbolizes this aligning head and heart, right? So it's pretty easy for us to be in our head all the time. And so this practice is thought to help balance us out a little bit, so strengthen that mind-body connection. And namaste is simply an honoring of you for joining me today. So the light in me honors the light in each of you. Thank you so much for visiting, and namaste, everyone.